Welcome back to The Watch. And we quite literally, just watched Halo, Episode 1, the Halo TV show. In actual fact, we did something new. We recorded our watch session, and that was a lot of fun. I'm playing with the idea of actually doing a supercut of just our reaction of that video itself. We might cut to certain things in our review.
Yeah.
But... Oz, you
look a bit jaded, Oz.
You look a bit
jaded. No, jaded isn't the word I'd use to describe it. I'd say suicidal. Yeah.
Oh wow! All right, so we'll try and avoid spoilers to begin with. It was it started average and ended bad. Like the climax was just so lazy and just
Nah, dude, the second I saw... What was the first shot of this show? Like, what was the first
Sand.
Sand. Oh, yeah, Desert Planet. So, just welcome back to the Desert Planet. We missed it.
Welcome back to Dune, to Tatooine.
Yep.
So, trying to speak broadly, avoiding spoilers. Overall, the production value was a bit hit and miss. Some was good, some had really bad CGI. I honestly didn't mind the design of Master Chief. I have not played the Halo games, but my peripheral exposure to the Halo franchise, even I could tell this felt not like Halo. It didn't feel like Halo. The only time it kind of mildly felt like Halo was when it was actually fighting some of the aliens and they cut to some first-person thing.
No,
but
dude, even then felt nothing like it.
Well, see, like I said, I can't really even comment on that. But everything else, it really did not feel like Halo.
None of it did. No, it felt like Star Wars, man. That's what it felt like. It felt like crappy Disney Star Wars. Not because it, just because it had, it's meant to be this, but it just feels like crap, It's...
Yeah. The action was average. And for an action series, it's funny. A show doesn't need to succeed in many areas for people to really enjoy it. You could have bad writing, but if the action is awesome, you'll love it. Look at Dragon Ball Z, right? You could have bad action, but if the story's really good, that can carry... Ultimately, we want everything to be good, and that's what I'd push for, but the action does not stand out. It was just... It was basic, it was passable, it didn't impress me, didn't make me like some, because of bad CGI. There was that, and so, alright, what else could pull you through for the show? Characters. None of the characters... endeared me, made me like them. And they tried to do this thing with Master Chief to make him seem like a good guy, but that was undermined by the fact that they give his actions an explanation through an external thing. So whatever actions he's doing isn't actually attributed to him. You don't know why he's doing what he's doing.
He's just doing it.
He's just doing... like, no, minor spoiler, but it doesn't ruin everything. Like, literally, someone asked him why he's doing so, he says, I don't know. Okay, we have no investment for why he's doing what he's doing at all. The other characters are very contradictory. Flat out contradicting themselves, and so I'm not invested at all. The main beats of the story are not justified, do not make sense. And so what else could make someone interested in this? Maybe if it was a faithful adaptation and people who are watching it like to see the familiar stuff. How'd they do on that, Oz?
They did a really awful job. Like, they didn't even try it, almost. It's like they...
Like, they didn't even bother playing the games.
Like, it literally, in terms of, like, making an adaptation, it doesn't look like they made an adaptation of a Halo game. It's like more like they made an adaptation of, like, a Halo poster. Like, they saw a poster for Halo, and they're like, hey, those look cool. Let's make something based on that. We're not going to do any research into it. Just what we can see on that poster, we're going to make that.
So... We're going to go into spoilers and talk about specifics now. My rating at the moment is like a 2 out of 10.
You give it a Halo 2 out of 10. I'm going to go a bit further than that. I give it a Halo 5.
I like that rating. That's a good rating system.
I haven't played the games yet, and that would be giving you way too much credit, giving it a Halo 2 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, what do you think, Nathan?
Yeah, no, that's like a Halo 4, Halo 5. It was... Like, at first, I was actually surprised...
But now you're confusing me because you're referencing the new games. What's your actual number? What's your actual number?
Anything that's above a Halo 3 is awful.
Yeah. Or would you say it goes 2, 1, 3?
I'd say that, yeah, for me it's 2 and 3 and then 1.
Okay.
And then everything else.
Confusing. Yeah, anything past a 3, you can give it, and it's terrible.
But okay, what is your actual number?
Oh, okay. Actual number for me. Is there a number lower than 0?
Predicted.
Yeah.
No, I would give it a 2 as well. Like, the opening action was all I was surprised with, but after that, it was just trash.
There was a good moment. Like with me and Nathan, I was like, there was an impactful moment. It was like, that could have worked if they did so, but there was a moment when I was actually, like, if we do the supercut of our reactions, I said, if he does this instead, that would draw me in. That would really make me interested that they got balls in this show. And they tried to pretend they had balls in the beginning, but then, nothing later. It becomes a wet noodle.
That whole, you're talking about, can we talk about when the cover...
All right, we're going to, spoilers now.
Spoiler.
So, we'll dive into all the specifics.
So with the very first, like, Covenant attack, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, drugs in a Halo game. What? No. In a TV show, it's never ever referenced. Secondly, the Covenant attack was way too dark for Halo. I know what you're thinking, right? A show about killing and guns. It's way too dark.
That could have worked for me, because I am going in blind. I only have peripheral understanding of Halo stuff, and that could have worked for me if it was really. And the moment that I was referencing was when the Flash comes up to execute the girl. Now I have problems with this kill the girl thing.
Kill the girl, save the world.
Yeah, right. And it just would have been really interesting if Master Chief flashed up. And they had this nice conversation. Oh, not nice, but like, you killed my mum, and there's like, it was my orders and everything. And then Flash, and he just, without hesitation, shoots her in the head. Head explosion. And it's like, yeah, he just follows orders. But that could also set up a really interesting arc, because it sets up Master Chief as someone who will follow orders no matter what. And then you might be able to try and do something with him coming into his own and being his own person, make his own choices for what he thinks is the right thing to do. There's an arc that, is basic. But you could do something like that.
It's not that he follows orders exactly, right? It's that he has never had any reason not to. Like, he has... The people who have been in command of him have always been like, okay, we need you to do this, Chief. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
And there's never been any reason not to. So...
But the whole... Okay, so... They did not... For something so pivotal in the plot, that this whole episode is structured around, is like... First, this girl is going to be really important. The Indian leader lady is like, the person's alive, we need to make sure she's safe or whatever. And then they want to use her for propaganda, she says no. And then suddenly execute her? It's like, what the hell?
Why not just put her in a brig? Put her in a prison?
Are they honestly I'm trying to think, what made them decide to kill her? And was it her threat to spread propaganda? Because that's a crappy excuse to murder someone. Like, it makes me, like... Whatever the Earth organization is, were they ever depicted as that morally evil?
No. No. The insurrectionists were doing 9/11s on a daily basis on other planets, basically.
So, they really show the Planetary Alliance, what are they called?
The UNSC.
The UNSC.
United Nations Space Command. As
dumb, because they don't justify the reason to kill her, and evil, because they're just going to kill this, person
teenager.
Because... separatist or something.
Insurrectionists.
Insurrectionists.
Doesn't make any sense.
Did not make any sense at all, and so much the plot is pivotal on that thing. And so if you're going to have a lot of the plot based on this thing, you need to justify it somehow.
It's like it's funny, right? So like is she carrying a plague? Like, to try and sorry to cut you off. It's fine. It's fine.
No, you go.
Okay, so like. He's just like, Master Chief is our most important military asset. Let's do everything we can to get him pissed off at us. And make him flee. Like, just, okay, Master Chief, fine, you're not going to kill her. Let's just put her in a prison cell. Let's wait for her to get back, separate the two, and then kill her.
Exactly! It's so dumb. So dumb. It's like, oh, he won't kill her, but you're right. Smart thing to do. Maybe just let her get off the ship, we kill her, whatever we want. But no, we'll reduce the oxygen in the ship, right? And potentially kill our greatest military asset. And if not, just make him really pissed at us. They're really dumb. Wow. And so I'm trying to think ways that they could logically have justified needing to have her killed. And it's really hard in this setup. It's like, is she carrying a plague? Is she... it's...
They can non-existence her at any point that they want.
Yeah. Unless she, in the exchange, says, no, I'm... Because, all right, then we get to another contradiction that really bugged me, because, and what annoys me, this contradiction, if they're trying to use that to sell the reason why they want to kill her, where she said, I'll tell everyone it was the Spartans that wiped us out and you're all bloody murderers and stuff, the only way you could try and justify killing her if she was more explicit about that. She was just playing with the idea in that conversation. I never got the impression that I'm going to do this. She was just trying to push back that I'm not going to let you use me for propaganda. But my issue also with that is that why wouldn't you? The Spartans tried to come in, technically tried to save the lives, but only you survived. But still, they saved your life at least. Okay.
Yeah, why would she
still hate them after that? And look, okay, bad blood, killed my mum and all that stuff. Still, like, you just saw them fighting an alien, attack.
And again, it just goes to show the separation from the source material, which they never looked at, is that the Spartans were invented to kill the colonists, not colonists, but insurrectionists. And then when the Covenant showed up, because the Covenant is wiping out every single human they come across, and the world too, they literally turn the surface of entire worlds to glass. They were like, hey, you know what, let's stop fighting, we have bigger issues to worry about. And then when the Covenant went away, then they started fighting again. So it's just like, come on, dude.
Yeah, and they didn't convince me that the people of this world, these insurrectionists, wouldn't have known that there's an alien invasion going on.
Everyone knows about it.
They tried to say at the beginning that it's a myth, and then there was like, oh, the rumours are true in the attack. But then later on they go to say that entire planets have been wiped out. And, alright, you could try and sell that in the sense that it's kind of hard for information to get out if entire planets get wiped out and things. But then they go on to say that they recorded, like, the entire attack on this, settlement. And so they probably have recorded footage of many attacks. And that would be front page news across the galaxy. And, oh no, it's a myth. We don't know what's really going on.
And not just that, but they have instantaneous communication across
now they have instantaneous. Yeah, and so during an attack, they could literally broadcast the attack to the world.
Yeah.
Everyone would know about this.
Live on Space CNN.
and so Oz has explained that they didn't do this in the game. They explained in the game that the insurrectionist movement ceased when the aliens attacked.
Yeah.
Here, they're trying to say the insurrection movement is still going on, and this character hates the United People Planet Organization thing. I'm gonna
United People Planet Space Organization.
That's the name now. After the aliens have been wiping out worlds already. And it just doesn't make sense.
And not just that, they'd been doing it for 30 years up to this point. There's only like 2 human planets left at this point in the war.
Well, that's according to the games. We weren't told that in the show. We don't know what's going on in the show. And sorry, before I continue, Nathan, is there anything you'd like to comment on?
The writing was really bad. Like, there were some awful lines. Like, there's a part where Halsey is talking to the Spartans before they go to attack Chief, and it looks like she's reading from a script in front of her, and then at the end, smiles and gestures and goes, oh, I forgot to emote. There's, like, moments like that. Obviously, Chief takes off his helmet, and they want him to be more emotive, but his eyebrows don't move. It's just his...
You brought it up. We need to mention
talk about just...
To me...
I would just say, I'm going to forget who Chief is now, because his face, for me, is very forgettable. I'm used to the helmet. I'm going to forget this man.
Like I said, I've only been experienced to Halo peripherally, but I know Master Chief's face you don't show. Like, showing the face felt like a slap in the face to Halo, the franchise. And I said it while watching it, they're going to show his face a lot through the show because they don't believe... Like, this shows that the creators, and I'm not saying just this thing, so many things... They have contempt for the source material. Oh, yeah. They think they can do a better job, right? And they believe that they wouldn't have been able to sell the show with Master Chief behind his mask the whole time, and they could have. Absolutely. Halo has been so successful with that present that it's become a marking thing. Master Chief is that Spartan helmet, not a guy's friggin' face.
Well, more accurately, you were Master Chief.
Yeah.
You put yourself in his shoes, you know?
And if people say you can't do that because it's a show and, you know, in the video game you put... No, people can still identify in a show with the character, and there are things that actually can be done in the story to help the audience identify more with the character. And one is trying to make them a more blank slate. Believe it or not, that's what they did in Twilight, right? Bella is such a plain nobody in the books that one of the theories is that a lot of teenage girls could identify with her through certain very common, you know, teenage character traits and stuff like that, insecurities and everything, but not making her so super unique that it would make it harder for people to identify her. And Twilight books are very popular.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and one thing is with that, when me and Oz were playing through the games, I realized that yes, you're playing as Chief, but there's so many characters around him that are so enjoyable to watch. And like, I didn't play the game necessarily to see Chief, but it was to see Cortana, and Sergeant Johnson is like the best dude. Like,
dude,
it makes me so mad.
Every other character in this show was black, and they couldn't give us Sergeant Johnson, one of the main black characters we all love, because he's so funny.
Contempt. It's utter contempt for the source material. It's like, we gotta put in black characters. Well, guess what? There's a great black character here. No, we're gonna use our own because we can do a better job. That's the vibes I get. They honestly thought they could do a better job, improve on the source material. It's the same thing they did with Wheel of Time. And these are arrogant people that think that they can improve on it and use it for their own things. Now, granted, I didn't see... looking over it all, I didn't see massive, you know, political messaging and stuff. There's the general things about the race changes, but that's just, you know...
diversity.
Just because, the diversity stuff. The main character being female, but at least they didn't make her unstoppable. Yet she's going to be the one who's going to humanize Master Chief now and show him how to be a good boy.
Master Chief doesn't need to be humanized.
I know he doesn't, but that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Sorry, is there anything else you guys?
I mean, there was also the Covenant human.
Oh yeah, the
Roundabout.
human member of the Covenant, which is the least likely thing to happen in Halo. Again, they kill every single human that they see, and the ones they don't, they lock up to torture for information and then kill.
So, again, contempt for the source material. And what annoys me is these kind of changes, I get the same question. Why? Now, when I try and look for the answers are not so blatantly political as they were in Wheel of Time, but I mean, it is, you know, a female character who's teaching the aliens about humans and things, but to me doesn't really mean much because it could be male, female, doesn't matter. I see more signs that they think that they can improve upon it. This is their vision, not the book. And so when you see a change to me, that didn't add anything to the show or episode. I'm not sure what it's going to add to the larger, series. And so that's when I get, if I can see no true benefit for this change, why did you make the change? And my conclusion is, it's just because they think they know better. Yeah. They want to make the show the way they want it and not reflect...
It's the whole, you made this? No, I made this. This is mine now.
They want to make it their own.
Yeah, I mostly just got really bad Wheel of Time vibes from the whole show. I just got those same yucky feelings of the way the camera... Like, it all looks very fake and staged.
Yeah.
And it's been the same for a lot of shows recently. And I want to go and figure out why.
I got that too, except I actually knew what the hell was supposed to be going on with this, just like Shad did for Wheel of Time. But this is much more painful for me because this is actually happening to me and it's real.
Yeah,
also, the theme they put in the show is such bad... Was it member berries?
Well, no.
Like...
The music, you mean, right?
The music's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean theme? Yeah, okay, there you go.
They put that in twice, once in the intro and once when Chief's... But then they always replaced it with this like very generic, forgettable theme with music. And with Halo, music is like half of the experience.
Yeah, the music is known to be like incredible for the games. This is one of the most important things about it.
Alright, so the writing overall, and this is a big component of a show's qualities, that's going to be the writing quality, okay? It was bland, unengaging, horribly predictable in certain points.
A lot of points, actually.
And you guys, we actually recorded it. Like,
so many moments you said, I think this is going to happen. I was like, no, surely not. 2 seconds later, oh, it happened.
And not only that, sometimes I was like, oh, this is going to happen. It wasn't, I think, this. I was like, this is definitely going to happen now. Alright, she's going to leave the bunker, and the bunker's going to be blown up. Like, everyone in there is going to die.
That's a decent prediction. I'm going to put my money on that one. Yeah.
Oh, was that the bunker?
Yeah.
Alright,
They're
yeah.
all dead.
Well done.
Everyone in the bunker's dead.
You're right.
Gee, wasn't half predictable. Alright, he's going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
that's
is like
such
everyone's
a
happy,
setup.
and then... Gee, that wasn't half predictable! Is this going to be magic MacGuffin device? It better not be.
What do you mean?
He touches the device, it gives the thing magical energy power back, and it can fly all of a sudden.
I swear if they do that.
I'm hoping I'm wrong, because that would be such lazy
Oh, no,
cheat.
they're setting it up. He's looking at it.
I think you might have been right, Shad.
And the ship comes back alive. Are you friggin' kidding me? You lazy bloody riders! Magic MacGuffin
Just solves all of our problems.
And now they play the thing.
And not only did it bring the ship back alive, it disabled everything else!
Yeah.
It re-enables the thing you need and disable. If it's like an EMP device, it disabled everything. Mate, come on! This is why I'm able to predict a lot of things in the show, is because this is what a lazy, writer, uncreative writer would default to, because they can't think of anything more engaging or special and everything. And it's not hard to think of what the lazy thing to do, because the lazy thing is the easiest thing to do. And so if I was writing this and wanted to just do the most uncreative, lazy thing, that's what would happen. And they set it up, and you see it a mile away. And so she goes to hide in a bunker. She's the main character. And then it's like, oh, my father's in trouble. I'm going to go out and help him. And I call it like, oh, everyone in the bunker's going to die now. Like, it's obvious. Everyone in the bunker died.
It's also funny though, when that happened, was the kid's like, no, if you go there, you'll die. And she goes, doesn't matter, I have to do it. And like, in a real life context, I feel like it makes more sense for the kid to stay in the bunker in safety than for her to go out and in a war zone. And yet they still flip it on its head.
No, but that's the thing, the kid's like,
it's
am
not
I gonna-
expected realism.
Yeah, but the kid said when she was leaving, am I going to die? Even he predicted it. Dude, if you're in a zone like that and you... Oh, man.
Get out of there. But is it like that? It would be so bad if you could predict real life events through bad storytelling. It's like, oh, I'm a red shirt. Holy crap. It's like, you identify who the protagonist is in the group. It's like, oh, damn it.
You got plot armor.
I'm just here to make you look good.
Oh, man. But also, right, the attack of the Covenant, how awful did they look?
So the CGI was pretty bad. I can't comment on their design because I'm not exposed to it.
We'll show you some.
Yeah,
man, 'cause
look,
it's
I got some
ridiculous.
right here.
But before we go on to that,
okay.
let's show it, because there's other... I want to finish off my whole writing thing, because
Okay.
other predictable things, right? She sees her father fighting, and is like, oh, the father's going to die now.
Yeah.
It's just so friggin' obvious. And I would have liked to, like, maybe subvert my expectations. Like, the father doesn't die. I was like, and he's there to help her out. But no, of course the father dies.
Do you know
It's
what
just going to be baggage for the series. They got to get rid of him.
You know what would have been much more interesting and probably a better plot point? Is if they kept both the father and the daughter, and the thing came out, Article 72 killed the father, and he did it. You know?
All right. Now, I didn't voice this, but when the thing came up to kill her, I knew he wasn't going to kill her. I said, and we've got the recording, it'll be interesting, and I said, but I said that in the context that I knew that it wasn't going to happen. And so, the strange project the scientist lady was working on, again, it's like, oh, this is obviously Katana. I don't even know the show, I'm not familiar with Katana, but it's like, they're going to introduce Katana, and they said it, I was like, well, that's obvious.
Katana.
Cortana.
Cortana, Shad.
Katana?
Actually,
She's her name. I could call her Katana and
she's so
just give her a
smart.
katana.
She can cut through anything.
Yeah, right. And the big one, and this is like, this was the climax of the episode, right? And this is like so lazy. It was Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
I was saying MacGuffin. MacGuffin has a more specific explanation. Technically, this. It almost qualifies as a MacGuffin. It's a thing that people in the show desire and want. We don't know how it works, but we saw it. Okay? Usually, like, the most perfect example of a MacGuffin is something that you don't know what it is, you don't know how it works, and you don't even see it.
Yeah, that's the plot device.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
pulls everything along.
Exactly. This is technically just a plot device that almost is a MacGuffin, but it's Deus Ex Machina, what it is. And so they're in the ship, right? And there's like disable autopilot, and that's like, all right, he would know how to disable autopilot, just like he would know how to, put the oxygen back on and things. That's like, I can accept all that. Disable autopilot, and then it gets shot with like an ion cannon, and Oz had a fit about that because...
Yeah, because it wasn't an ion cannon, it's called a mass driver. Mm-hmm. Originally, these things were designed to shoot massive payloads of like a ton or more into orbit so they could be picked up by a space station, right? But then they started using them to put holes inside Covenant ships. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not meant to knock something out, they're meant to evaporate that thing that you're aiming at. Okay? Like, and for an object to blow a hole through a Covenant ship is a big deal in Halo, man.
Yeah.
Like, even human ships themselves can't do that.
So I don't have an issue with it if because if this is an adaptation, right, and they're just showing this gun to do this thing, but if later they show the exact same gun be able to put a hole in a Covenant ship, that will really tick me off because it shows that they're being horribly inconsistent with the power of their weapons and
let me be clear though,
the world.
In terms of like the Halo weapons and lore and everything, they essentially used a nuke to make a ship stop flying.
I know, so that should
it's like using a lightsaber to knock someone out.
So
stock them on the head
and hitting them like right in the face.
The only way they can redeem now is if this gun in the show is going to be that powerful. They've nerfed it. It's not a nuke now, but if they just use it as a nuke later on, it shows that they're not paying attention at all with consistency. So anyway, it gets disabled, it falls down, and I was like, and I said this in concern as I was like, no, don't do this. And I was like, they're going to use the magic MacGuffin device to save it. And if they did, I said it like, that would be the most lazy bullcrap thing. And that's exactly what happens. And what annoys me, like, not only is it Deus Ex Machina, so it's really bad writing, it's also really inconsistent with how it works. It magically returns power to their ship, which got blasted with some energy thing that supposedly fried its circuits, and then it landed without landing gear, and so its frame is probably buckled. It's like, and so this is why it's magic. There's no explanation for this thing being able to, is it able to interface so perfectly with human technology? How does it know to repair fried circuits or damaged things? It is doing crazy magic stuff. This isn't technology. It's hand-wavy magic, lazy bullcrap. And not only does it do that, which is unbelievable, right? It then knocks out the power and the lights of everything else. So it repairs this thing with the same energy burst that knocks out everything else. Why isn't everything else repaired in the same way? It does not make sense in any measure. It's so friggin' dumb. And I could have gone with maybe that it disables human technology because it's so foreign it can't interface and it just fries circuits. So it could more logically act as a type of EMP device, and he could have touched it, knocked everything out, and then that give him a chance to fight through, get in another ship, fly off to safety, right? But the friggin' bullcrap that they pulled is like, it just repairs the ship because reasons. It was so unsatisfying. It was so dumb, and it was just like, give me a friggin' break. And if the writers are this lazy, because this is why it's lazy, right? I don't know, did they try? Well, it's either really lazy or they are profoundly uncreative, because there are many ways that you could try and think of a logical, consistent way to help Master Chief out of that situation. And it seems like either they didn't care or they were incapable of thinking of any number of 100 creative, fun reasons that could have made him look competent and everything like that, and they decided to go, magic.
Yeah. How many drafts did they have this script?
They had almost 300 drafts of the script for this show. Do you know why? Because the test audience kept attempting suicide. 256.
It just makes me wonder what they were changing.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't plot holes or...
You know what would be worse? I worry that the writers thought it was really clever. That this magical plot MacGuffin thing, they thought, aren't we so smart? We set it up, and he looks at it, and then he touches it, and then it does it. Why is it that great? It's like, wow, if they thought that was clever...
You can bet. They would think every decision they made would have been genius. Just genius.
It is so lazy, and it doesn't show Master Chief as clever or competent. He touched a thing, and they were saved. Yeah.
If they wanted to go full 2022, they should have had the Asian lady touch it, and she's the one that fixes the problem.
Oh my goodness. So that was impressively dumb and bad, and they just fully embrace that type of thing.
Then there's the whole thing with killing the chick, because first they say bring her back, then they get orders to kill her, and then the main sergeant lady's like, wait, is she going to survive with the oxygen off? Like, is she going to die? But they want her killed as well.
Yeah, but when she said, is she going to survive, Halsey says, I thought you wanted her dead.
Yeah. And so they're pointing out the inconsistencies with each other, but they don't do anything about it. It's kind of like Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And, okay, so, Master Chief. He literally says he has no idea why he's trying to save her. I was like, alright, so that makes me uninvested, uninterested, like, is he a good guy? He's not a good guy, he's just doing things because he has no idea. His head's scrambled because he touched the alien thing. Oh, alright then. So I don't care about I'm like I said, if he just pulled out a gun and shot her following a thing, it would make me think, not a nice guy, but it'll make me more interested in him as a more dynamic character. Now it's basically just a wet noodle doing whatever he doesn't know because alien scrambled his brains. It's boring and uninteresting. I don't give a crap.
And it's never in any from one to Reach has anything like this happened. Like, there's never been a Spartan's, motivations has never been in question. They're there to defend humanity against a genocidal species of aliens.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because this is the other reason why this doesn't feel like Halo. The main conflict is girl, kill girl, don't kill girl, escape the army because they want to stop me because I'm not killing the girl. Yeah. That's the plot. It's like, oh, I thought the plot about Halo was alien invasion and Covenant and bad and big battles and stuff. Like, the whole focus is just around this girl, and it's like, this does not feel like Halo at all. It's not focusing on the Halo story. The Halo primary story of the alien invasion isn't even front and center.
We've got more Halo in Boba Fett than we did in this Halo show.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no Halo. We haven't seen a Halo.
Yeah, because you have to find the Halo to win the war.
No, now it's going to be find the Halo, save the girl.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
And what's so... Like, she's not special. He hasn't, discovered that she's the key to saving the galaxy here, but... Imagine, this is giving her too much credit because she's an unimportant character, but imagine if she was the only one who can interface with the device, right? I know that contradicts the law because humans should be able to do it.
Well, that's the thing though, right? Because they can't... Oh, look, it's a complicated thing. Probably you can see it in the next episode. It's just... They even get their own retconned. It's the weirdest thing, man. They screw up their own retcons. It's the...
But imagine if... she can interface with the alien things. Humans think it's too great a risk because that means she could unlock something. And we know that if you know Halo lore, the Halos could just... But they aren't even supposed to know anything about this yet. Yeah. But, oh no, she's actually got to kill her. But the Master Chief knows she's got to stay alive. But at the moment, she's got no importance at all. And so Master Chief is risking his career, his role in the war, for this girl he doesn't know. Doesn't matter. And look... If it was like, she's an innocent person, I'll stand on my principles and defend her, even at the risk of ruining my career and position in the army to protect an innocent person. I never really got those vibes from Master Chief.
If they did that, imagine if they did that though. Why did you save me? And he's like, you're an innocent or something like that. You're a civilian. I don't kill civilians. That's simple.
He doesn't talk like that now though. He talks differently.
Instead now he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, oh yeah, that makes you look really good, Chief.
This ain't it, Chief.
This is not it. Wow. So, yeah, this episode was bad. It was pretty
I don't think this will be the only episode that's bad. Yeah. I think the entire series is going to suck. Whew.
Then look, I wasn't there with a notepad writing down every single observation. This is right out of...
If we went back with a notepad, though, I think we could point out. Or the fact that at the start as well, they're on this desert planet, but then they go into a little foresty area. That's another thing as well. Why be in the desert?
All of the Covenant, all of the elites are wearing the same crappy armor that looks awful. They didn't have any grunts or jackals or hunters or anything fighting with them. It was all just elites. Even it showed an honor guard when it was on High Charity and the prophet in the chair showed up. The elite, who's meant to be one of his honor guards with the staff, was wearing the exact same armor. They're meant to be wearing really intricate, armor.
And what frustrates me, I was annoyed like this in Wheel of Time, where they had this beautiful blueprint, and all they needed to do was follow it, and they'd have a great show.
Same thing.
With Halo, even more, they had a visual journal for designs of everything.
They had 3D assets that they can just put into whatever software they're using to make this show.
In fact, can we show him you remember the beginning of Halo 2 where it shows High Charity?
Yeah.
Should we show him that?
Oh, there's way more detail.
Exactly, right? Looks completely different. Lots of purples and blues.
Not all white and weird.
And those are the honor guards there.
Mm-hmm.
What we were meant to see in the show. That's the
Look
armor.
at the
Looks
armor.
completely different. The prophets seem more regal. Look at the elites, more pretty. Armor doesn't look like cardboard. That's meant to be Mercy right there, the one we saw in the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's just completely different. That's meant to be a human ship. That's meant to be the planet that we saw in the show.
So they had more than blueprints that they could have just, built off of. It's like, no, we can do it. We can do it better. It's like, oh, yeah, this looks better.
Yeah. And they just, every single thing they did, everything they touch turns to crap. Why do they do this, Nathan? I'm just kidding. You don't know why. I know why.
Well, we all know why, but I just don't know why. Their reasoning doesn't make sense if it's to make money or give us content.
It's not for that. They want to destroy the things we love.
Yeah.
That's the whole game plan. So, yeah, there you go.
Well, we will be watching the Halo show very closely.
Oh, really?
This is
Do we have
this
to?
is close to Oz's heart. We would never let him miss such a thing, and we need to also report back to you guys on what it's like.
So until next time, please kill me.
Stay watchful.